Good afternoon and welcome to Wilderspool Stadium for this Stones Bitter Premiership first round game between Warrington and Hulkingston Rovers. The teams for this afternoon's game: Warrington at 1 Brian Johnson, 2 Des Drummond, 3 Joe Rapati, 4 Barry Peters, 5 Brian Carbett, 6 Keith Holden, 7 Paul Bishop, 8 Kevin Tamati, 9 Mark Roskell, 10 Bob Jackson, 11 Tony Humphreys, 12 Mark Roberts and 13 Alan Rathbone. Substitutes for Warrington: 14 Ronnie Dwayne, 15 Gary Sanderson. Hulkingston Rovers at 1 George Fairburn, at 2 Kerry Boosted, 3 John Dorahy, 4 Andy Thompson, 5 Ray Stead, 6 Mike Smith, 7 Wayne Parker, 8 Des Harrison, 9 Chris Rudd, 10 Malcolm Beale, 11 Andy Kelly, 12 Paul Speckman and 13 Gordon Smith. Substitutes for Hulkingston Rovers are Steve Smith and Mike Fletcher. 2 captains have just tossed the coin, Bob Jackson and Mike Smith, with today's match referee, which is Mr Kevin Allett from Southport. His touch judges Mr Greenhouse and Mr Hesketh. And it'll be Warrington playing from right to left in this first half, in the white shirts with the primrose and blue V and white shorts. Hulkingston Rovers in the red and white. On a beautiful afternoon here in Warrington, Paul Bishop playing scrum half, about to get this first round of the Stones Bitter Premiership underway. Kick over on that far side, safely taken, and an early tackle there for Tony Humphreys and Kevin Tamati. Chris Rudd plays it out short, driving forward Des Harrison. Warrington quickly up in the tackle. Rudd once more, a kick comes in here, it's charged down by Humphreys, bounces over on that far side, it's picked up by Ray Stead. Ray Stead moves forward, it's a good tackle from Joe Rapati and Des Drummond in there as well with Alan Rathbone. Rudd once more, Speckman. That's some good tackling there, Rathbone, Humphreys and Holden. Hulkingston Rovers lose ground. Malcolm Beale, he's stopped by his opposite number, Bob Jackson and Alan Rathbone. Goes back to George Fairburn, Fairburn switches it. Kick comes in here. High one on this near side, Johnson's underneath it. Takes it safely, Johnson brings in Carbett. Carbett drives forward, gets away from Dorahy. Finally brought down by Chris Rudd. This time it's Barry Peters back in the first team. He's stopped by Chris Rudd. Roskell to Keith Holden. Holden brings in Rapati. Rapati drives forward. He's stopped by Des Harrison, 5 yards short of the halfway line. Roskell out to Bishop. Bishop short to Roberts down the centre, and Roberts finds a gap, gets away from one, gets the ball away to Keith Holden. Holden cuts back inside. He's finally stopped over on that far side by Ray Stead. Good move though from Warrington, takes them into the Hulkingston Rovers 25 for the first real attack of the game. Bishop to Rathbone. Rathbone looking for a gap, one-handed pass, but it's intercepted by John Dorahy. And Dorahy is finally caught by Barry Peters. Moving away with the ball is Gordon Smith. He played scrum half in the league game a couple of weeks ago when Warrington triumphed 38-0. Des Harrison there makes a couple of yards for Rovers. Rhodes sends it on this blind side to Beale. He's trying to drive through this Warrington defence, he's unsuccessful at the moment. Rudd once more. Scrum half, Wayne Parker sends it back to Fairburn, who has to kick. It curls down. Brian Johnson takes it a couple of yards short of his own try line. Johnson then cuts inside 2 men, beats another, cuts inside 3. Clears his lines well before he's finally caught by Andy Thompson. This time it's Drummond, goes himself from the play, the ball crashes forward, clears his own 25 before he's stopped over on that far side. Finally brought down by Mike Smith, goes over on that blind side to Jackson. Jackson head down, gets the ball away to Roskell, to Holden. Holden straightens up, he's though caught by Mike Smith. Roskell to Bishop. Bishop misses out Tamati, brings in Rathbone. Rathbone makes a couple of yards before he's stopped. Roskell this time to Bishop. Bishop kicks on this near side, testing Kerry Boosted, and it goes over Kerry Boosted's head and into touch for a scrum down. Good kick there from Bishop, described by Ray French as one of the game's master tacticians of the tactical kicking in his column in the Today newspaper. A modern day master tactician. So scrum down just outside the Hulkingston Rovers 25. Hulkington Rovers in possession, good pass from Boosted, releasing Fairburn, swings out to Doherty, nice pass to Thompson, but he runs straight into Drummond, but gets away from the tackle. Good little bit of play there to get away from danger of Hulkayar. This time it's Fairburn. Fairburn kicks downfield, waste of a tackle really. And the referee says there was a trip there on George Fairburn, which gives Hulkington Rovers a penalty. For a trip on George Fairburn, which, when it seemed to be a hopeless kick downfield on only the second tackle. It's John Doherty. Missed a league game here a couple of weeks ago, but puts a good kick there. Hulkington Rovers, the first real attack of the game for them. Chris Rudd takes the second part of the penalty. First receivers, Des Harrison. Harrison trying to drive through the Warrington defence. Parker brings in Smith. Nice ball there, trying to get Speckman away. Midway inside the 25, Hulkington Rovers pressing in the 4th minute of the game. Parker, nice pass out to Smith, to Fairburn, this space for Fairburn out to Thompson, but he can't take the pass, and that's a knock on, and a scrum down. Andy Thompson couldn't take the pass from George Fairburn. So scrum down, Paul Bishop puts the ball in. Warrington in possession, Bishop, Rathbone come away from the scrum. Keith Holden out to Bob Jackson, Jackson, nice pass to Rapati, Rapati gets away from Thompson, still going, finally caught by Andy Kelly. Tamati gives a dummy, straightens up, gets the ball away to Jackson, turns out of a tackle from Doherty, finally caught by Smith. Roscoe this time to Keith Holden, Holden gives a dummy, brings in Roberts, Roberts gets away from one tackle, he's driving forward now, Roberts, he's got Rathbone to his right, it's a good pass, he's taken by Roscoe, Roscoe cuts back inside, looks for support, finds it from Peters, Peters turns, finally caught by Fairburn, 15 yards short of the Rovers line, Bob Jackson this time out to Bishop, to Holden, space now for Humphreys, Humphreys drives forward, he's just caught over on that far side. 6th tackle then for Warrington, it goes to Bishop, he tries a drop goal, it goes across and Fairburn takes it and he's caught by Tamati, and that's a tap from the 25 for Hulkington Rovers. Gordon Smith trying to drive through there. Malcolm Beale not successful though. Des Harrison, he's well tackled up by Mark Roskler and Alan Rathbone. Parker switches it back to Speckman, Speckman kicks downfield, it looks a good one. And it is, good kick there from Speckman. So scrum down, 5 yards outside of the Warrington 25. Bishop puts the ball in, Warrington in possession once more. Comes away with it as Paul Bishop. He's caught though by Gordon Smith. Rathbone short to Holden, to Tamati. Gets a nice ball away to Rapati. Rapati cuts back in field, gets away from 3. Straightens up once more, charges in. Good little run there from Rapati. Roscoe to Rathbone, Rathbone, nice pass to Holden, slip pass to Humphreys, Humphreys finds a gap, gets away from Speckman, cuts back inside, finds Rathbone in support, Rathbone crashing in, is finally caught on the Rovers 25 by Andy Kelly. This time it's Holden out right to Bishop, brings in Roberts, Roberts good pass to Rapati, Rapati crashes in. It takes 4 Rovers players to stop him. Tamati, Bishop, Holden, Holden goes back right, looks at the gap, finds it. There's a pass waiting on his left hand side, but there was nobody there. 6th tackle, Tamati gives a dummy, kicks it himself, he follows it himself, Tamty goes for it, knocks it down for Jackson, good ball to Carbett, and Carbett's in, and it's a forward pass, says the referee. The try doesn't count. Good play there from Tamati, knocked the ball down to Jackson, but Jackson's final pass to Carbett adjudged to be forward, and Carbett's try doesn't count. The ball doesn't go in, comes straight out, another scrum. So with 9 minutes gone, Warrington's try isn't registered on the scoreboard, the score remains at 0-0, and a loose arm in the scrum gives Hulkington Rovers the penalty. George Fairburn to kick for touch to clear the pressure for Rovers. Balls put safely into touch midway inside the Hulkington Rovers half. Chris Rudd taps it. First receiver trying to drive through is Des Harrison. He's been pushed back low. Once again it's Chris Rudd at the acting half-back position for Hulkington Rovers. Sends it out left. Parker to Smith, Smith brings in Speckman. Mike Smith to Gordon Smith. Smith out to Fairburn. Good tackle from Mark Roskell, allowing George Fairburn no space. Rudd once more, kick will come in here from Speckman, testing Carbett, but Carbett takes it brilliantly. Carbett faced by Boosted. Boosted hangs on, but the pass is away to Peters, beats one man. He finds space, does Peters, he's still going, cuts inside again. Good run there from Barry Peters. After a bit of good play from Brian Carbett, and that's a penalty. Parker and Rudd not allowing Barry Peters to play the ball. Lying on in the tackle. And Brian Carbett will try and open the scoring. So Brian Carbett says he's come back in the first team at the start of April against Widnes. Scored 12 goals. And he strikes that to the right and it's not going to come in. And it's Mike Smith who takes it safely, but it's a good tackle from Mark Roskell. So 11 minutes gone, Hulkington Rovers have two let-offs, a try disallowed and a miss from Carbett. Still Warrington 0, Hulkington Rovers 0. And a penalty to Hull KR. And Rathbone looks to be lined on in the tackle. Once again, Hull KR can relieve the pressure with a kick from George Fairburn. Fairburn then, right-footed, once again, makes no mistake. Good kick from Fairburn. Park up to Gordon Smith. Nice pass to Kelly. Good tackle from Joe Reparty. Smith to Parker, short. It goes to Des Harrison. Harrison crashing forward. Chris Rudd once more, out left with Parker. Brings in Speckman. Speckman though quickly wrapped up by Kevin Tamati and Alan Rathbone. Rudd once more. Once again it's Parker and Smith, his space now, but it's not a good pass. Picked up by Thompson, but Stead can't take a ball, it's picked up by Drummond. Drummond moves into space. Nice bit of play from Des Drummond. Roskell this time. Rathbone. Rathbone has to go himself, straightens up down the centre, turns in the tackle, gets the ball away to Roskell. Roskell turns, finds a gap. Roskell out to Tamati, throws it back to Humphreys. Humphreys now. He's finally caught though by Andy Kelly. Tamati, Holden, back inside to Roberts. Roberts gets away from two. Roberts now into space. Nice ball to Bishop. Bishop's charging forward, back inside to Johnson. Johnson still going, he's going for the corner, cuts inside. The ball's loose, it's picked up by Carbett. Carbett moves into space. He's finally caught by Mike Smith, 10 yards short of the Rovers line. And an injury there to Brian Carbett. Looks to be in some trouble with his right leg. Well, Brian Carbett been very unlucky so far this season, having just come back after injury. Now looks in trouble with his right leg. Receiving treatment, but it doesn't look a good sight at the moment. Ronnie Dwayne is limbering up over on that far side. He might be coming on earlier than expected. Brian Carbett back to his feet, but he's in some pain. I don't think he'll be able to carry on. He'll be able to play the ball. Referee restarts the clock. It's Roscoe this time to Bishop. Bishop brings in Rathbone. Rathbone crashing in. Warrington there with Tamety out to Holden. Bishop run out with Holden. Back to Roberts. Roberts crashing in. Just couldn't get the ball away to Johnson, who's on his left hand side. 6th tackle. Brian Johnson out to Bishop. Bishop lines up a drop goal. And it's over. And it's disallowed. The ball hit a Hulkingston Rovers hand before it went over. So the drop goal was disallowed as well. And Brian Carbett limps from the field to be replaced by Ronnie Dwayne. Not a happy sight for Brian Carbett and Warrington fans. And Ronnie Dwayne will probably go onto the wing. So drop out for Hulkingston Rovers underneath their own post with 15 minutes gone of the game. Taking a similar road to the league game where there was no score for about 20 minutes. Then Warrington started to run right in the second half. Good to take there from Johnson. First touch for Dwayne. He's stopped though by captain Mike Smith. Roscoe short to Bishop, brings in Humphries. Humphries looks for a gap, turns. The ball smothered up by Chris Rudd. Roscoe, Bishop, out to Holden. Reparty's on the burst. Turns in the tackle, but once again the ball's smothered and he can't get it away to Drummond and Holden. Tamety acting half back to Bishop, misses out Roberts, brings in Rathbone. Rathbone still going, just couldn't get the ball back to Paul Bishop. Once again Chris Rudd doing a lot of tackling along with Smith. Paul Bishop, little grubber kick, lots of good kick from Bishop and it is right in the corner. Good kick from Paul Bishop. An important scrum then, close to the Hulkingston Rovers line. Warrington, of course, the holders of the Premiership trophy. Last season, the first round disposed of Widnes, while Hulkingston Rovers last year in the first round went out to Wigan. And Paul Bishop has it. So Warrington then, 5 tackles, 10 yards from the Hulkingston Rovers line. Penalty there to Warrington. Wayne Parker line on Paul Bishop, not allowing him to play the ball. Paul Bishop will put for touch, so 6 tackles for Warrington. Inside the Rovers 25, a chance to open the scoring. Ronnie Dwayne will take it. He taps it, he'll try and crash over himself. He stopped 5 yards short. Roscoe brings in Jackson, Jackson crashing for the line, gets away from one, he stopped inches short. Warrington then, 4 more tackles left. Jackson plays it, Roscoe, Rathbone crashing for the line and he's over. How many times have we seen Rathbone from that sort of position crash over? Rathbone opens the scoring. And Alan Rathbone, all his tries this season have been crashing over from short range. And he showed it again, the Hulkingston Rovers defence couldn't cope with the power of Rathbone. And Rathbone scores his 3rd try of the season. Warrington 4, Hulkingston Rovers 0. Try scorer Alan Rathbone. So Paul Bishop back to taking kicks now in the absence of Brian Carbett. So Paul Bishop still second in the goal kicking charts to Paul Loughlin. And he knocks over another. Warrington 6, Hulkingston Rovers 0. We're 19 minutes through the first half. And Warrington get the first points of the afternoon. When there was no stopping Alan Rathbone from close range. So John Dorahy restarts, a high kick, a deep one testing Drummond. Drummond takes it safely. He's crashing forward, gets away from one, finally caught by Ray Stead. Good clear to the lines though from Des Drummond. Roscoe this time. Rathbone crashing forward once more. Mark Roscoe to Bishop. Bishop brings in Jackson. Jackson head down. Nearly got out of the tackle of Rudd. But Speckman was there to finish the tackle off. This time it's Tamati. Roscoe sends it out right with Holden. Bishop, nice floated pass. Roberts on the burst. Looking to get the ball away to Drummond, but just couldn't. The ball smothered there by Andy Thompson. Sixth tackle then. Keith Holden to Bishop. Bishop out to Tamati. He's found space. Tamati on to Humphries. Humphries now driving forward. Back to Holden. Holden out to Rapati. And it's a... Oh! Gives a forward pass. Dubious decision by Mr. Allett. But a forward pass is given. After a good flowing move from Warrington, or Rapati was crashing forward. The pass from Holden adjusts to be forward. Scrum down. Rovers in possession. Tony Humphries breaks away from the scrum to bring down Wade Parker. So exactly halfway through the first half, 20 minutes gone. And it's Hulkingston Rovers in possession on their own 25-yard line, down by 6-0 at the moment. Malcolm Beale. Well, in the league game, Hulkingston Rovers persisted to throw it through the forwards. Andy Kelly, a great tackle there from Paul Bishop on the big number 12, Andy Kelly. Smith, it's a poor pass, but it goes to Steed. Rovers not making much ground at the moment. Sixth tackle, a grubber kick, and that will be a successful one from Paul Speckman. 5 yards inside the Warrington half for a scrum down. Paul Bishop goes round to put the ball in, and it goes Warrington in possession. Out to Holden. Holden back to Rapati. Rapati now beats 2, beats 3. Crashing forward once more. Another good strong run from Joe Rapati. Roscoe. Bishop. Holden. Brings in Johnson. Nice pass to Dwayne. Takes it safely. Cuts back inside. Beats 1 tackle. Beats 2. Dwayne now down this near side. Still going. Gives a dummy. Throws it back to Peters. Peters stopped 5 yards short, gets back up again. Great move from Warrington, good run from Dwayne, sets them up on the attack once more. Brian Johnson out to Keith Holden, Rathbone, run around with Holden, but he's caught by Rudd. Throws the ball out to Roscoe, cuts back inside, but it was spotted there by Mike Smith. Warrington lose ground. This time it's Tamati, goes himself from the play the ball, looks for a gap and finds it, throws a good ball out to Dwayne, takes it well, Dwayne back inside to Johnson, it must score, yes! Ryan Johnson, another try to the Warrington fullback. He goes over for another try, we've seen it so often this season. Brian Johnson's 23rd. We're just putting him right up with the scoring, try scoring table. And that makes it 10-0. 2 tries in 4 minutes. Gives Warrington breathing space in this Premiership round 1. The try scored that time, Brian Johnson, but that was made by the touchline run just a few seconds earlier by running Dwayne. Just stopped a couple of yards short, got his pass away to Peters, it was quickly played out. So Bishop touch conversion attempt, just goes wide. So Warrington 10, Hulkingston Rovers 0, 24 minutes gone in the first half. So John Dorahy to restart for Hull KR. Once again knocks it very deep. The sun in Drummond's highs, he leaves it for Tony Humphreys. And Humphreys now driving out of his own 25. Good driving run from Humphreys. This time it's Roskell out to Jackson. Jackson head down, driving forward once more. Clears his 25 before he stopped. Roskell, Rathbone, crashing forward. Paul Bishop here waiting for a kick. Penalty given to Hulkingston Rovers for offside. John Dorahy then will put for touch. In fact, he's going for goal. So, chance here for John Dorahy to put Hulkingston Rovers' first points on the board. They failed to score in the league game. But John Dorahy then. Chance to pull 2 points back. Placing the ball Australian style, pointing towards the goal. Dorahy and Hulkingston Rovers register their first points in this Premiership first round game. A penalty goal from John Dorahy. So Warrington 10, Hulkingston Rovers 2. 14 minutes left in the first half. Speckman traps it with his foot, takes it safely. Immediately then crashed to the floor. Parcott floated past to Fairburn, looking for a gap and finds it. But a good cover tackle from Alan Rathbone to stop George Fairburn. Chris Rudd, Beale, Malcolm Beale drives into the Warrington half before he's stopped. Chris Rudd, nice saucy pass to Speckman. Smith slipped past and it's away now to Kelly. Well taken by Thompson. Thompson still going. Valley caught by Paul Bishop and Bob Jackson. Smith, Parker, Speckman looks for a gap himself down the centre, loses it, it's picked up by Roberts. And Roberts dives on the ball and then pounced upon by Wayne Parker. So Warrington back in possession, midway inside their own half. Kevin Tamati swings it out to Bob Jackson, he juggles with it but just keeps hold, gets away from one tackle. Finally caught by Malcolm Beale. Roskell back inside to Tamati. Roskell right to Bishop. Holden, space for Peters, good pass to Rapati, just goes behind him, picked up by Johnson. But a knock on by Joe Rapati and a scrum down. Ball's put in by Parker. Ball though comes straight out, so the scrum, which has just collapsed, will have to pack down once more. Front rows meet once more, but the scum's turning and no way can get the ball in at the moment. And once again the scrum collapses. Once again the ball's turning, it was obvious feeding there by Wayne Parker. So Paul Bishop to put for touch. Over on that far side, left-footed. Makes no mistake, sails into the crowd all in short sleeves this afternoon. Bishop then to take it, taps it to Roskell, Holden. Picked up by Bishop, swings out to Roberts. Roberts turns, but there's 3 Hulkington Rovers players there to cut him out and couldn't get the ball away. Keith Holden gives to Dome, looks for a gap, goes right, switches it back to Rathbone, it goes behind him, picked up by Gordon Smith. Hulkington Rovers back in possession. Rudd, not the best pass in the world, and it's knocked on by Mike Smith, who isn't very happy with his hooker Chris Rudd. Scrum down just inside the Warrington half of the field. Warrington 10, Hulkington Rovers 2. 10 minutes left in the first half. Ball goes in, Warrington have it, Bishop dives on it. Warrington have 5 more tackles just inside their own half. Alan Rathbone, short to Holden, Humphreys. Roskell, Tamati. Nice ball to Jackson. Jackson crashing forward, just caught by Boosted. Goes out right with Bishop, Holden, Barry Peters. Just couldn't get the ball away to Joe Rapati. An important tackle there. But then lined on Barry Peters was Malcolm Beale. And after doing a good tackle, lets himself down and his side down by giving away a free kick. Bishop, good kick that from Paul Bishop. Says Warrington up on the attack, midway inside the Hulkington Rovers 25. Alan Rathbone once again will drive forward, crashing in. It takes him 5 yards from the Rovers line. Bishop, Jackson gives a little shimmy, then stopped 5 yards short once more. Alan Rathbone's injured. Bishop, back to Tamati. Tamati held above the Rovers line, stopped injury short. Taps it over himself, it falls to Bishop. A skirmish, the ball's loose. Hulkington Rovers in possession, right on their own line. Ray Stead. Good tackle from Paul Bishop and Gavin Tamati. Warrington quickly up and Hulkington Rovers having trouble getting any room at all. Rudd, once again, it's pressure there from Warrington. Fairburn trying to go around the outside, he's caught by Humphreys. Fairburn then line all over Tony Humphreys. Raystead tries to get a few more yards but can't. There's 5 tackles gone, they've made about 5 yards, Hulkington Rovers, and finally have to kick for some space. Ronnie Dwayne takes it safely. Roy Dwayne then moves forward down the centre. Gets away for 2 tackles. Roy Dwayne now powers forward. Nice pass to Barry Peters. Peters cuts back inside, he's still going. Swings it back to Holden. Holden to space for Drummond. Drummond now gets away from 1. Back to Holden. Nice move this. Keith Holden goes down the centre. Throws it out to Jackson. Great move there from Warrington. Jackson finally being caught by Andy Thompson. Roskell this time left with Holden. Holden now still going. Lovely pass to Peters. Peters will crash over. Barry Peters scores after a lovely pass from Keith Holden as it was swept left by Roskell onto Holden. Peters found himself with only 1 to beat and he beat it with ease. And Barry Peters, in his first match in the first team, scores his first try of the season for the first team and his first appearance. So 14-2. Once again, Ronnie Dwayne having a great run as he got that ball. Once again, setting up a move which took Warrington a couple of yards short of the Rovers line, then quickly went out left. Peters finished it off with a good try. And Bishop's kick this time goes to the left of the posts. But Warrington got breathing space at the moment. They lead by 14 points to 2. Thanks to a third try, that coming from centre Barry Peters. With 6 minutes left in this first half of the first round of the Stones Bitter Premiership. The highlight being a double header. The First Division and Second Division finals at Old Trafford. So John Dodder here once again. It's another deep kick. Drummond takes it safely. Once again he'll drive forward, crashes in, makes it to just shouted on 25, clears his lines well with a good strong run. There's Drummond. Roskell, Humphreys, good buttering run from Tony Humphreys. 3 players on his back but still makes ground. This time it's Tamati. Mark Roskell sends it out right with Holden to Bishop. Roberts is linking up well, but Brian Johnson just got in front of Mark Roberts, and the linesman immediately on over on that far side for something in the tackle. The crowd all went as though they saw something, and linesman was quickly on the field. The offender being number 10 Malcolm Beale. And the referee reaches for his notebook. And Malcolm Beale will go into Mr. Alex Little black book. And he's also calling over Captain Mike Smith to warn him if he does it again he'll be taking an early bath. Yeah! Well, the crowd going mad there. As Wigan being beaten by Widnes. Well, as if it can last though. But Warrington have a penalty. And Paul Bishop once again fires the ball to touch over on that far side. The crowd now warmed up after that score came through. It's Bob Jackson crashing forward. He's still going. Good run from Bob Jackson. Mark Roskell to Alan Rathbone. Rathbone receiving treatment. Didn't seem to be running at full pace there. Might be carrying an injury. Warrington substitute is Gary Sanderson, the forward. Bishop swings it back to Roberts. A crunching tackle though, but it's a knock on anyway. And Hulkington Rovers missed another chance to regain possession. A knock on coming from Andy Thompson. So the final 3 minutes, and it looks like Alan Rathbone is coming off. Yes, carrying an injury. When he received the ball there, wasn't going at full pace, but already a good reception for Alan Rathbone. The tries, he really crashing in that first half. Took a lot out of the Rovers defence. He's replaced by Gary Sanderson, who made his mark in the Warrington first team in the Premiership competition last season. Hulkington Rovers then in the shape of Andy Kelly. But a good crushing tackle there from Kevin Tamati to finish off the tackle, which was started by Holden and Bishop. Chris Rudd this time. Gordon Smith, nice pass to Speckman, but Speckman quickly pounced upon by Tony Humphreys. Nice tackle round the legs. But no room there to move at all. Not the ideal ball from Gordon Smith to Speckman, to Beale I should say. Little chip through from Parker, he follows it himself, and Parker now kicks it across field. Still Wayne Parker kicks it ahead, he's following it himself. Des Drummond chases it and takes it safely. And gets just out of his own line, does he? Yes, throws it out to Johnson. Johnson now moves forward, gets away from two. Johnson running into space. Still Brian Johnson gets away from Beale. He's got space, he cuts inside, back to Peters. Nice play there. Great play from Drummond, getting out of his own try area. On to Johnson, he ran 25 yards, gives it to Peters before he was tackled. Tamati gives a dummy. Final 90 seconds, Brian Johnson has it, swings it out to Sanderson. Sanderson finally caught by Des Harrison. Roskell, Bishop, out to Roberts. Roberts going down the centre of the field. Just a nice backhanded pass. Jackson should pick this one up and does. Bob Jackson over that far side, back inside to Drummond. Drummond now out to Keith Holden. Holden cuts back inside, straightens up, gets away from one tackle. Finally caught. Into the final minute of the first half. Plus injury time. Des Drummond makes a couple of yards over on that far side. Matt Roskell to Bob Jackson. Jackson once again gone through a lot of work in this first half. Took a lot out of the Rovers tackling. Sixth tackle, Paul Bishop. Kicks into space. Kerry Boosted. Didn't see much of him in the league game. Trying to go down the centre, but no way past Gary Sanderson and Mark Roberts. Parker left to Speckman. Speckman tries to go down the centre, but no way through for Hulkingston Rovers at the moment. Into the final seconds of the first half, Hulkingston Rovers trying to get their first try on the board. They're down 14-2 in this, the first round of the Stones Bitter Premiership. Here's Gordon Smith, and it's picked up here by Keith Holden. Holden out to Rapati. Rapati cuts back inside, still Joe Rapati. It took 3 Rovers players to stop him. So into injury time in this first half. Can Warrington get another try on the board? Holden, lovely dummy. He stopped a couple of inches short of the Hulkingston Rovers line. Final seconds into injury time. Kevin Tamati. He's just pushed back out to Drummond. Drummond for the corner. He's in. Drummond there, a try out of nothing. It seems that there was nothing on there for Warrington, but Des Drummond got in at the corner in injury time in the first half, and that stretches the lead to 18-2. It looks like a semi-final place at the moment in the Premiership for Warrington. 4 tries in this first half. And it's Des Drummond who scores in injury time. And Des Drummond, since he's come to Warrington, that's his 7th try. So, Warrington basking in the sun at the moment. In total command. Paul Bishop, a difficult touchline conversion. Strikes it well, but once again goes wide of the posts. So, Warrington 18, Hulkingston Rovers 2. We've played just over a minute of injury time due to the injury to Brian Carbett. Also been a few other stoppages, but shouldn't be long. Probably after the first tackle, Hooter may go. Dora here once again kicking deep, and that sails straight out for a penalty from the centre spot. Can't be much time, maybe sensible to go for goal. And that's what Paul Bishop is doing. We've played 2 minutes of injury time, so a chance to put another 2 points on the board. So Paul Bishop comes up, but it has the length and the distance, but doesn't have the direction. Race D takes it. And there in fact goes the half-time hoot up. Satisfactory first half performance in this Stones Bitter Premiership first round game. Warrington leading 18-2. 4 tries, the first coming from Rathbone, then tries from Johnson, Drummond and Peters. 1 goal that came from Paul Bishop. Hulkington Rovers in reply could only manage a Don Dorahy penalty. Half time is Warrington 18, Hulkington Rovers 2. So the team's back on for this second half. Warrington have already made their 2 substitutions. Gary Sanderson on, so is Ronnie Dwayne. Don't notice any changes on the Hulkington Rovers side. So it's the same 13 that finished the first, that starts the second on both sides. So John Dorahy restarts with a deep kick. Gary Sanderson went backwards. John Dorahy has a word with the referee as Gary Sanderson goes well, has a little word with Speckman as Tamati drives in, clears his own 25 before he's stopped. Roscoe to Bob Jackson. Jackson head down once again, running hard this afternoon. Roscoe to Tony Humphreys. Bob Jackson's down injured now. It's a day of injuries so far for Warrington. As Bishop kicks downfield, George Fairburn traps it soccer style, takes it safely. Caught by Mark Roskell and Mark Roberts. Parker on this near side, trying to go through with his head, but no way past Tony Humphreys and Kevin Tamati. For number 10, Malcolm Beale. Chris Rudd out to Parker, to Gordon Smith. Nice pass to Mike Smith. Smith found a gap. Back inside now to John Dorahy. Dorahy now. He's got a play to his right hand side, which is a substitute, and he's going to score. It's a try for Stephen Smith. At the start of the second half, Steve Smith scores. He's on, it looks like, for Kerry Boosted. The Hulkington Rovers start the second half in good style with a try from Steve Smith. And it is Kerry Boosted who has gone off at half time, being replaced by Steve Smith, and Steve Smith's first touch of the ball is a try. Dorahy then, and goes wide of the target. So Warrington 18, Hulkington Rovers 6. So Paul Bishop to restart. Once again, it's a high lofted kick, a deep one. Steve Smith takes it safely. Now got 3 Smiths on the field. Parker short, nearly dropped but just held on to by Des Harrison. Chris Rudd, Parker, short pass to Andy Kelly. Chris Rudd once more, Parker, Gordon Smith to Speckman, nice pass to Fairburn. Fairburn now, back inside comes John Dorahy. Dorahy still going, good tackle from Barry Peters. Hulkington Rovers though certainly started the second half the better. Speckman, kick downfield, it's a good one from Paul Speckman. So, scrum down. Paul Bishop puts the ball in for Warrington and he's penalised for feeding. Gives Hull KR the penalty. And Dorahy puts the ball out of the ground. Des Harrison driving for the line, he's stopped 5 yards short. It's out to Smith, he brings in Malcolm Beale. Hulkington Rovers then pressing with Gordon Smith out now to Mike Smith. Smith still going back inside to Andy Kelly. Kelly stopped a couple of yards short. Parker chips it through himself. And it's had to be punched out by Brian Johnson for a drop out from the post for Warrington. Bishop then drops out. Good kick. Bounces up nicely though for Paul Speckman and he'll drive forward. Good tackle though from Humphreys and Roberts. 5 minutes gone of this second half. Hulkington Rovers pressing, and have been pressing for the first 5 minutes of this second half. It's brought them one try and they're pressing for another now with Mike Smith. Nice pass to John Dorahy, out to Steve Smith, but he'll be pushed into touch. So a scrum down, midway inside the Warrington 25. Ball comes out to Warrington, it's picked up by Ronnie Dwayne. And number 4 there, John Dorahy coming in with a fist. After the tackle was made, Gary Sanderson, he makes it to his own 25-yard line before he's brought down. Holden to Bob Jackson. Jackson's held up in the tackle and pushed back. Ross Glatt in half back to Paul Bishop. Bishop brings in Humphreys. Humphreys this space but he just can't get the ball away to Keith Holden. Hulkington Rovers certainly started this second half well. Bishop, good kick from Paul Bishop but it bounces. Great kick from Bishop into touch to relieve some of the pressure for Warrington. A modern day master in the art of the tactical kick. So scrum down. Warrington head, Hulkington Rovers ball. Ball goes in, Warrington in possession with Bishop out to Holden. Holden now brings in Sanderson, out to Johnson. Johnson looking for a gap, knocks off Dorahy like a fly, but just finally caught there by Mike Smith. Gary Sanderson left with Keith Holden. Holden gets the ball back to Roskill, to Sanderson, to Bishop. Bishop, lovely pass to Bob Jackson. Jackson cuts back inside, he's still going. Finally caught by Ray Stead. 6 more tackles, there's nobody acting half-back. Holden did well to kick it back to Humphreys. Humphreys finally caught by Georgie Fairburn. Barry Peters out to Holden. Bishop run around with Holden, brings in Roberts. Roberts out to Sanderson. Sanderson cuts back inside, gets the ball away to Holden, gives a dummy. He's held a couple of yards short. Kevin Tamati out to Bishop, looks for a gap, caught by a high tackle, referee lets it go. Plays it quickly to Tamati, space now over on that far side, but he's intercepted by Steve Smith. And Smith then runs it to Keith Holden. Des Harrison, he makes good ground. Speckman, ball now, good tackle from Mark Roberts. Speckman Sends it to Parker, to Gordon Smith. Nice pass to Mike Smith, sloppy pass. Thompson dives on it. Race dead. 2 more tackles to go for Rovers, still inside their own 25. Mike Smith kicks, should go straight to Brian Johnson, and it does. Brian Johnson then gives the dummy, knocks off Mike Smith, gets away from Speckman. Johnson, lovely floated pass to Dwayne. Dwayne Powers keeps in play, does he? No, he's in touch. That's a scrum down over on that far side with coming up to 10 minutes gone. Half an hour left of the match. Still could go either way. 18-6. So scrum down then. Parker puts the ball in. It's out to Mike Smith, to George Fairburn. Fairburn looks for the gap. It's a good pass to Andy Thompson. Thompson now gets the ball away. Ray Steed. Good tackle from Des Drummond. Dorahy out to Thompson. Speckman. Smith, forward pass there as Harrison tries to go through. Rovers once again on the attack with Chris Rudd acting half back to Mike Smith. Smith gives the dummy, comes back left, lovely dummy from Mike Smith, is free. Mike Smith back inside to Gordon Smith, and Gordon Smith scores under the posts. That try beautifully made by captain Mike Smith. He carved a gap in the Warrington defence. He had support on his right from Gordon Smith, and the loose forward went over and brings Hulkington Rovers right back into the game. So John Dorahy with an easy conversion attempt right in front of the posts. Comes up and he makes no mistake. 6 points the difference now. Warrington 18, Hulkington Rovers 12. Warrington 18, Hulkington Rovers 12. Bishop to restart. Knocks it deep to Steve Smith. He goes behind him and he can't keep it in, he was out. In fact, the referee lets it go on. George Fairburn trying to clear his lines. We've got a cut tie on our hands now, just to try and go between the teams. And a penalty given to Hull KR. Not allowing George Fairburn to play the ball. So John Dorahy to put for touch to clear the lines for Rovers. And once again he puts it straight out of the ground. Rudd to take the second part of the penalty. First receiver, Des Harrison. And he's lost the ball, but it's picked up by Rudd. Steve Smith out to Parker, to Gordon Smith. Space for Andy Kelly. Rovers certainly throwing about in this second half. Short to Parker. Found himself with little room to move. Chris Rudd to Mike Smith. Tries a little kick, but it's too long from Mike Smith. Ball back for a scrum down. Keith Holden has moved to scrum half, and Paul Bishop has gone to stand off. Ball goes in, Holden has it, brings in Drummond. Drummond now, nice pass to Bishop. Bishop onto Rapati, Rapati down the centre. Took a good tackle from Andy Thompson to stop him. Penalty to Warrington, Thompson not allowing Rapati to play the ball. Paul Bishop to put for touch. And he doesn't make it. Steve Smith has it. Smith still going. Good tackle from Kevin Tamati. Andy Thompson, short to Andy Kelly. Chris Rudd, Parker, Speckman, good tackle from Gary Sanderson. Parker once more. Harrison clears his 25 before he stopped. Goes back this time to John Dorahy. Dorahy kicks across field. Falls to Drummond and Johnson, picked up by Brian Johnson. Johnson goes himself. "25 minutes to go, here's Des Drummond. Tamati out to Tony Humphries. Humphries driving in, makes good ground before he's stopped. Roskell to Holden. Holden goes back left, good pass, the ball's loose. Warrington have it, they lose it again. It's finally picked up by number 8, Des Harrison. Good little run there. Good tackle though from Bishop, then gets a couple of boots in the face from George Fairburn. Little argument between Kelly and Roberts. But the penalty goes to Hulkingston Rovers. John Dorahy to put for touch. Goes on the longer side, over on that far side. And he makes no mistake. Sets Rovers once again inside the Warrington half. Chris Rudd will take it. Driving run there from Beale. Quickly stopped though by Tamati. Assisted by Humphries. Going across the field now. Good tackle there on Des Harrison. Parker, Smith, danger here. Kelly, good tackle from Paul Bishop. John Dorahy to Mike Smith. Smith turns, space for Rudd. And Rovers at the moment really playing well. Parker, Speckman. Speckman going down the centre, falls to the tackle of Gary Sanderson. 6th tackle for Hull KR. 5 yards outside the Warrington 25. It goes back to Parker. He tries a drop goal, but it's easily taken by Brian Johnson. And he takes the tap from the 25. Holden will take it quickly. Holden goes himself. Moves forward, makes good 10 yards. Paul Bishop looks for a gap and finds it. Bishop's away now. Paul Bishop, he's got Johnson on his left and he finds him. Nobody's going to stop Brian Johnson under the post. Beautifully made by Paul Bishop, and Brian Johnson finishes it off, his 2nd of the day. Restores Warrington's lead. Beautiful break from Paul Bishop. Once again it was Brian Johnson linking up. Nobody's going to stop the flying fullback under the posts. And Hulkingston Rovers comeback comes to an end, thanks to a try from Brian Johnson. So Paul Bishop, the architect in that try, comes up and he architects the goal. Good goal from Bishop, his second. Takes Warrington to a 12-point lead. It's Warrington 24, Hulkingston Rovers 12. So John Dorahy. Bounces awkwardly. Sanderson takes it safely though. Gary Sanderson there moves forward. Kevin Tamati driving forward. Roskell to Bishop. Bishop brings in Roberts. Roberts driving forward. Good strong run from Roberts. Warrington seems to have found a second wind at the moment. Roskell to Bishop. Bishop kicks downfield. And it's a nice kick from Bishop. One bouncing into touch. For a scrum down. So we're halfway through this second half, 20 minutes to go. Mike Smith brings in Ray Stead. Mike Smith this time outright. Parker, Fairburn linking up. But he's quickly hammered by Tony Humphries and Gary Sanderson. Gordon Smith outright to Speckman. Speckman kicks, comes off Roberts and goes straight into touch, ball back. In fact it hit the Rovers man, and in fact substitutions being made. George Fairburn being taken off, much to the pleasure of the Warrington fans. Been giving him a bit of stick for the last 10 minutes. He's replaced by Mike Fletcher. Hulkingston Rovers in possession. Early touch here for Mike Fletcher. Mike Smith. Parker to Speckman. Good tackle there from Tony Humphries. Rudd. Gordon Smith. He can find no way through. He's stopped short, just short of the halfway line. Chris Rudd, out it goes. Parker. Mike Smith to Andy Kelly. Chris Rudd. Kick comes in here from Parker. Safely taken by Johnson. Johnson onto Dwayne. Dwayne powers forward, gets away from one tackle. Another good run from Ronnie Dwayne. In fact, he's lost the ball on the tackle. Rovers then with 6 more tackles. Des Harrison. Good tackle from Holden and Tamati. In fact, the ball's loose. Going to have it, but no advantage being played by the referee. So it's a scrum down. Ball goes in. And it goes again. Bishop. Holden took it well. On to Johnson. He's on a hat-trick. Johnson. He just gets away from Dorahy. Barry Peters. Finally Fletcher comes back. Gary Sanderson left with Keith Holden. On to Bob Jackson. Jackson storming forward. Good run there from Jackson. Holden out to Bishop. Bishop brings in Roberts. Roberts turns, can't get the ball back though. And that's Andy Kelly. And Andy Kelly going like a wild man. We've got a punch up in the centre of the field. Really, he's going mad here. I think the referee's got to see it, send someone off here. Yes. Number 12, Andy Kelly's gone for his early bath. I'm not surprised. Bows to the Warrington fans. Tony Barrett has a few choice words to say to him. No doubt I can imagine what he's saying to Andy Kelly. Referee stops the clock. Mark Roberts, it looks like he was down. So the game explodes in the 24th minute of the second half, which sees Kelly go off for an early bath after throwing some wild punches at Mark Roberts, who gets back to his feet. Bishop then puts the touch. That's a better kick from Paul Bishop. Warrington now on the attack. Ronnie Dwayne will take it. Rovers a mile offside as Dwayne tries to power over. He's still going. He stopped about 5 yards short of the Rovers line. Roskell. It's Jackson who'll try and drive over. There's 3 Rovers players there though to stop him. Roskell to Tamati. Goes behind him and Rovers have the ball with Gordon Smith. Speckman. Good tackle from Paul Bishop. Comes on this near side to Harrison. Good tackle again from Paul Bishop. Road, as it goes again. Somewhat lucky pass in there from Mike Smith. He didn't look. Put Fletcher in all sorts of trouble. Mike Smith once more goes himself. Good tackle from Tamati and Roskell. Roskell tries to pinch the ball but he's unsuccessful. 6 tackle then for Hull KR, still inside their own 25. They've got 15 minutes to see if they want to progress into the next round of the Premiership. Well taken. Keith Holden out to Brian Johnson. Johnson inside. Back he goes to Holden to Drummond. Drummond still trying to get away from Stead. Fi Thompson comes in to finish the tackle. When will the referee call held? He finally does. Keith Holden on to Gary Sanderson. Tony Humphries is receiving treatment over on that far side for an injury. This time it's on to Bob Jackson. Jackson head down. Once again it takes 3 Rovers forwards to stop him. Bishop, Holden, back to a Party driving in. Oh, his pass just charged down. Oh, Johnson may well have been through for a hat-trick. Parker to Speckman. Speckman, he finds a huge gap. Speckman's still going. He's still going, is Paul Speckman. Good run. Chris Rudd. Parker. Mike Smith. Gordon Smith, he took it well. Fletcher. The party spotted that a mile off and brings him down with the assistance of Gary Sanderson. Gordon Smith. Back it goes to Stead. And he gives the peach of a pass to Gary Sanderson. Roskell out to Humphries. Humphries going down the centre, he finds a gap, he finds support from Roskell. Good run there from Humphries, good backing up from Mark Roskell, took a try-saving tackle there. And a penalty there against Parker. Not allowing Roskell to play the ball. Bishop then to put for touch, left-footed. Makes no mistake, goes into the main stand, just hits the boarding in front of it. Roskell, it's Kevin Tammage, he'll come on the charge. Turns back to Holden. Holden switches it back to Jackson. Jackson straightens up. Stops short of the 25. Roskell to Keith Holden to Bishop. Bishop brings in Roberts. Roberts turns, but he's well sandwiched and wrapped up by Paul Speckman. Keith Holden gives a nice stomach, moves forward. Good little run for Keith Holden. Desi Drummond out to Bishop. Oh, pass, it's a 50-50 ball. And a penalty, well, obstruction there. Tony Humphries tackling Gordon Smith without the ball. Gives Hulkinson Rovers the penalty. John Dorahy will take it with 11 minutes to go in this first round of the Premiership competition. Dorahy makes sure. Chris Rudd will take it. It's on to Speckman. Good tackle from Humphries. Going across the line with Gordon Smith. Short to Mike Smith. Good tackle from Mark Roskell there. Dummy from Parker. Roskell in the tackle with Tamati. Rudd out to Speckman. Long pass. Nice pass there from Beale Dorahy. And off the ball incident there, Tony Humphries. After the ball went, being penalised. Off the ball incident on Malcolm Beale. So, John Dorahy, and he doesn't make touch. Goes straight out for a dropout from the 25. The Hulkington Rovers missed a good opportunity. Bishop drops out, it's a good deep one. Taken though by Parker, he feeds it onto Fletcher. Running hard, but runs straight into Gary Sanderson. Short ball to Malcolm Beale. Rudd. Gordon Smith looking for a gap, gets a nice pass away to Mike Smith. Rudd. Speckman looking for players. Nice little side step there from Beale, but he doesn't feel Mark Roskell, who brings him down on the halfway line. Into the final 10 minutes of the match. A kick from Speckman, but goes dead, and that's a tap from the 25 for Warrington. Paul Bishop then to take the tap. To Keith Holden, to Bishop, swings it out to Jackson, but the ball's gone loose, it's picked up by Speckman. Hulkington Rovers then with 5 tackles in the 25. Rudd, Parker, Harrison trying to go through himself. Rudd, Parker, Smith again, out to Steve Smith. And it's intercepted by Dwayne. Has he got the space now? He's driving forward. Steve Smith's got to come back and tackle him. Throws it back to Tamati. Nice play there from Ronnie Dwayne. Kept the ball going with a good pass back to Kevin Tamati. Bob Jackson out to Keith Holden. Peters, Bishop, brings in Roskell. Oh, it's intercepted. Andy Thompson. He's fairly hammered though by Brian Johnson. This time it's Malcolm Beale, and Beale finds a gap, and Beale's still going, he's still going, he's Beale, swings it out right. Gordon Smith back inside to Steve Smith. Seven minutes to go. Mike Smith in possession. Speckman, nice pass to Fletcher, good tackle from Bishop, but the ball's out to Stead. 6 more tackles, Ray Stead still going. 6 more tackles for Hull KR, just outside the Warrington 25. Andy Thompson to Speckman. Rudd goes on to Parker. Parker straightens up. Makes a few more extra yards for Hull KR. Rudd once more, outright. Harrison. Good tackle there from Kevin Tamati. Gordon Smith to Mike Smith. Smith, nice pass there for Thompson. Thompson, good tackle from Joe Rapati. On Thompson. Try saving tackle. Sixth tackle for Rovers. John Dorry here puts a high bomb in. Johnson takes it superbly. And Johnson now. Holden. Dwayne moves back inside. Still running Dwayne. He's moving forward. Cuts inside again. He still gets away from another. Just caught though. He had Holden on his right as well. Beautiful play there for Warrington. Barry Peters to Kevin Tamati. Tamati going down the centre, beats one man. Oh, Paul Bishop was on his right, but the ball didn't go through to him. Roskell to Holden. Holden goes himself back to Roskell. Roskell through the centre. Holden went for the return once more. Holden right to Bishop, brings in Drummond. Drummond gives the dummy back inside to Sanderson, on to Bishop. Bishop finds a gap. Still Bishop out, it goes to Rapati. Takes it well, but Steve's there to bring him down. And passing off the floor gives Hulkington Rovers the penalty. With 5 minutes to go. Mike Smith to put for touch. Rudd takes it to Parker. He brings in Harrison. He's looking very tired though now. Rudd once more, swings it back to Gordon Smith. Smith now looking dangerous. Finds the gap, but Bob Jackson got back well to bring him down just inside the Warrington half of the field. Mike Smith this time, going across field. Swings a pass out to Speckman, who's not on his right hand side, has to go himself, and it's knocked down by Roskell. He picks it up. Nice pass back to Brian Johnson. Johnson now into space, onto Bishop. Bishop gets away from Thompson, still going, good break from Bishop. Finally brought down by Parker. And a penalty to Hulkington Rovers. And Tony Humphries gets today's man of the match. But there's still 4 minutes to go, and Hulkington Rovers pressing. Smith again. Chris Rudd. Parker gives a dummy, cuts back inside, still Parker. Chris Rudd. Right is Smith. Smith throws a pass out to Dorahy. Caught by Barry Peters. Good little run again. Mike Smith. Kicks across field looking for Fletcher. Johnson's there. Plays it to Tamati, onto Drummond. Drummond crashes into Thompson. Kevin Tamati making a couple more yards for Warrington with 2.5 minutes of the match to go. Mark Roskell to Paul Bishop. Bishop brings in Sanderson. Sanderson stopped by Speckman. Roskell to Bob Jackson. Back it goes. It's not the best pass in the world. It's picked up by Andy Thompson. Rovers then. Chris Rudd acting half-back, sends it out right. Parker, Smith again, space for Fletcher. Good tackle from Humphries, assisted by Peters. Rovers then. They've got 2 minutes if they want to do anything. Perhaps force a replay with 2 tries. The 5-yard shot of the Warrington line. Speckman out to Parker, chips it through himself. Brilliant take by Kevin Tamati. Got down like Bruce Grobbelaar. Roskell to Des Drummond. Drummond back inside to Rapati. Rapati, ooh, nearly got it back to Drummond. Into the final minute of the match. Holden gives a dummy. Roskell short, Bishop looking for a gap himself. Caught though by Parker, the ball goes loose. Roskell just taps it back to Brian Johnson so easily, and Brian Johnson finds a break down the centre. He's only faced now by number 15, Fletcher throws a long pass out to Dwayne, he runs onto it superbly. Dwayne kicks ahead, he was hit off the ball. Referee lets play go on and Fletcher's caught. Into the final 30 seconds plus injury time. And Warrington look like progressing into the semi-final of the Stones Bitter Premiership. The ball's gone loose, it's picked up by Mark Roberts. Can Warrington get a try in the final seconds of the game? It's on to Kevin Tamati. Tamati throws a wild pass, and he's easily intercepted by Andy Thompson. And Thompson's free, he's not got the legs surely. Keith Holden easy brings him down. Thompson there had a free patch to run in, but Holden just trotting, brings him down with ease. Into injury time now. And there goes the final hooter. Warrington move into the semi-finals of the Stones Bitter Premiership competition with a 24 points to 12 victory over Hulkingston Rovers. Warrington tries 2 for Brian Johnson, 1 for Des Drummond, 1 for Barry Peters and 1 for Alan Rathbone. There was 2 goals for Paul Bishop. Hulkingston Rovers, they had tries from Gordon Smith and Steve Smith, 2 goals from John Dorahy. So Warrington move into the semi-finals of the Premiership. The result so far looks like a trip to Knowsley Road in a fortnight's time. So the final score here, perhaps the final game at Willisville this season, is Warrington 24, Hulkingston Rovers 12.